Okay, good evening everyone. Today we will see like what is Maven before proceeding to this project, right? This is a dynamic web project and we can do the thing over here and basically we will know what is Maven. Okay, we will do the dependency injection using Maven. Let's see. So, what is Maven? Maven is widely used build automation and project management tool, primarily used for Java projects, and it helps manage the entire software development lifecycle, include such tasks as compiling code, managing dependency, running tests, packaging artifacts, and deploying your application also. So there are some key features of Maven, that is project structure, dependency management, and build lifecycle, plugins, reproducible builds also there, and customization tools. So these are the features of Maven. Okay. Uh, so we need this Maven in our project to get rid of all the dependencies problem. Okay. So now in previous session, right, previous day, we already converted this sublet example that we created as dynamic web project. We converted this as our Maven project, right? Using this configuration and here we can add as a Maven, convert it to Maven project. If you already done it, it will not show you here. Okay. Now let's try to do. Okay, so here what we have sublet DB. Okay, these are the sublet classes, and there is DB, and there is user, that is entity class. Okay, and there we need another class to give all the logics. Okay, whatever logic we are passing over here in try catch, right? Try we are passing some logic and say like whatever potential logic we are passing, we will not pass over here. We will do a create a layer, that is DAO layer. Okay, so in DAO layer we are going to pass all our logic or whatever implementation we have, all our methods. Okay, that will perform all the insertion, deletion, all that function. We are going to create a different layer, or that is called a DAO layer. So let's create a DAO layer, user DAO. Okay, user DAO. And here we are going to give all the logics. Okay, so say in user DAO, first we need to get the connection. Okay, connection class. And that connection we have from the package Java SQL. And there we have connection class. Okay, to get all the function that we are going to perform, right? Prepare statement and all that connection prepare statement, that all are coming from connections. Okay. And need to import this connection class. And as a constructor, as a user DAO, this class, we are going to create a constructor using a connection as a parameter. Okay. Okay. And we build the constructor. So now we are going to perform our logical method or logical function we are going to. So to add user, we can create a method name add user. Okay. So basically why we are taking this as a boolean? Boolean if equals to false. So what that's mean basically? So basically like we are taking this boolean value, right? So boolean value indicates whether the user addition was successful or not, like whatever I am adding, right? And like it will take in two options: is user added successfully or user not added successfully. Okay, we'll check this. And we are going to get our user from user entity class. Okay, so we need to pass that user entity class as our parameter. Okay. And it should have return type, return f. And here in between this boolean, and here we are going to perform try catch. Okay, try catch block. So basically inside try block, we are going to wrap our code inside that try block and handle all potential exception that might occur during our database operation. Okay. So we are going to in try block, we are going to define our SQL query string to insert data into our user table. Okay. And that query value placeholder for parameterized value for preventing our SQL injection. Let's say we are going to pass our SQL query inside try block. Okay. So say try, and to handle exception, we have catch block. Okay. So come to try block. So here we are going to say define our SQL query. Okay. Inside a string, a string SQL, and we give our query inside the double quote. Okay. So we need to insert our user, and we need to define all the columns over there, and like as a value, say values, and we need to give the values over here. Values. We have two entities, right? That what we have, username, email. So say, so basically whatever column name you are going to give here, right? That should match with your database column name. Okay. That is user DB we have. Inside user DB, we have user table. Okay. So User table, we have this column. So these are the column. Okay. So if I come over here, like in DB connection, we already created our DB using user DB schema. Okay. So these things are not needed. And here we can say like user username and email, and value we don't know, right? We are going to get the value from the user. So we will specify like whatever value is going to get over here. So basically these are the placeholder, that is value, right? And next what we are going to do, we are going to create a prepare statement using the SQL query. Okay. And the connection object is assumed to be like valid that database connection. Okay. Inside that SQL query, right? So say prepared statement, object name, and need to import this class from say connection. Using this object name connection, we are going to get this prepare statement. Okay, and we need to pass our uh, SQL query as a prepare statement. Okay, so basically, like we are creating a prepare statement using the SQL query. Okay, and this connection, right? This connection dot prepare statement. So basically, this connection object, right? So we are using this object. Right? So basically, this connection object, right, is assumed to be a valid database connection. Validate our database, right? We need this connection. So next, what we are going to do? Next, we are going to set the value of the first parameter, that is first and the placeholder, right? So we are going to set the value of first parameter in the prepare statement to the user name obtained from the user object, right? So let's say, okay, so prepare statement, right? Say PS. So say PS prepare statement dot set string. We are going to set our attribute here, right? So we are going to set the first parameter. Okay. So say set string parameterize index. So in first we are going to get our username. Say get our username. Okay, get username of this. And like basically where we are getting this get username, right? We are getting this from this user entity class, right? So for that, what we need to do, we need to call uh, that get username from our user entity class, right? So say here we have object of our user entity class. So by using object user dot, and here we can see we have get username. We will get that. Same way we are going to set our next uh, the next value. Okay, that next value we have email. Okay, user dot. So we are getting this email and setting this to our prepare state. Okay. So after doing this, okay, we already set, right? After doing this, So we need to execute the SQL update operation, right? That insertion and return the number of row affected by the operation. Okay. So basically we need to execute our this SQL query, right? So for that, what we have say like for this, we have like say execute update. We have this thing in prepare statement. In this prepare statement class, we have see this is a pre-compiled SQL statement we already have. So for that, there we have say execute update. So it will execute all your query, whatever query you giving as an SQL, and you already pass this SQL to your prepare statement as a parameter. So it will check. Okay. So let's say take a variable int I and we will pass this prepare statement and say execute update. We are going to update this query. And after updating, okay. So after updating, we are going to check. Okay. So after updating, we are going to check. So basically what it will do. So basically INTI equals to like this is object name, right? Object name of prepare statement. So PA is this prepare statement having this execute update. So what this line will do? So basically this line will execute the SQL update operation and returns the number of rows affected by the operation. Whatever number of rows we are going to, right? There is two row we are going to operate. So basically like whenever we are going to write the value is stored in this variable, this I variable, whatever the value that will store in this I variable. Okay. So after executing the update, right? So we need to do that condition. Okay. So to check that variable, right? So we will do like say if I, so if I double equals to 1, so basically F is true, right? So we actually took this Boolean F. So it will check. So what this F will check? So it will check that whether this is successful or failure to this user to insert. Okay, so it will check the failure and the successful insertion. So say if this I is double equals to 1, then it will return me true. Okay, so there is something, right? This one. Basically, if it is true, it indicates me that there is successful insertion happen. Okay, so F equals to true. That means there is something successful insertion happen. If it is not, then it will false. Okay. So then if it is not, it will come to catch block. Okay. And what we have in catch block, we have that exception catch block. Say catch, we have exception here. So let's say we didn't try, right? So what I'm doing here, okay. So it should be if else. So if you like confuse, okay. So here I already declared the catch block. So if you already confuse like what opening block and closing block. So if you just click in this first opening block, it will show you your closing block. Okay. If you choose the first opening block, it will say. Okay. So sometimes it makes confused, right? Opening, closing block. So, yeah. Exception we have. So what we will throw, we will say e dot print stack tree. So basically like we are going to say going to print the console using this we are going to print that exception, right? Whatever exception we are that occur, that we are going to print those exception using this e dot print stack trace. Okay. And after that, we will simply returning this f. So basically this method, right? So this method return the value of f. So and that variable set is true, right? So if the variable set is true, to indicate that is the successful insertion. Okay, if it is false, then it is like through an exception if it is false. Okay, and say let's say we will retrieve all the user details from the user table. Okay, that we have user. Okay, so we will retrieve all, like we will get all the detail that is added by the user. Okay, so say public list. So list of details over there, right? So public list, say give a method name, get all user, and list of what? List of user. Yes, say user, and list need to be import list. So now it asking for return type. So let's say, let's first we need to like initialize our empty class, right? So let's initialize our empty class, and to store the retrieved user record, right? User data. We will use array list. Okay, list of array list. Say list and object name give list new array list. Okay. It says incorrect. Okay, argument name. So we are going to pass our, we are getting the list of user, right? Say user, and same way we are going to get the user. And here we are going to take a variable that will take an user as null. Okay, say user u null. So basically, like we are declare a user object, right? That is u, and that will be used to temporarily store user information during each iteration. Okay, of that result set. And if you already know, right? So we have result set in our uh, SQL class. Okay, so we are going to use that result set. So first, like say. And here we are going to use the try catch block. Okay, we are going to declare our connection in try, and in catch we are handling all the exception, whatever error it generates, and we will return this, return our list. Okay. Say the inside try block. So we are going to write declare our SQL query over here. Okay, so string SQL, and we are going to retrieve all the data from the database, right? User table. So say select star, uh, select star from user. Okay, we have user table, and here need to give the exceptions, catch, exception. So we are going to create a object of this prepare statement, and like we are going to store our value to this statement, right? We are going to like whatever like object we connection by using this connection, we are going to assume to be like validate our database. We are going to validate our database. So say connection dot prepare statement, and we will pass our query to validate the query. And say like we are going to store our say this whatever SQL query we are executing, right? So whatever it will execute the text SQL query, and whatever it obtain, right? Whatever result it obtain. So we will going to set our result and containing that retrieve whatever retrieve data it retrieved, right? So basically, we use this set result set to execute whatever execute the SQL query and obtain a result set using the object name and containing the retrieve row also. Okay. Say uh, result set and give the object name rs. Okay. And we are going to execute our query. Okay. Query, and need to import this class also. So now here we are going to perform a while loop. So while loop we are going to check, right? We are going to check if like we are going to iterate. Okay, iterate through the list, through the user list. Okay, we are going to iterate through a user list, like through each row of the result set. Okay, we created this result set, right? And like we are going to iterate through each row in the result set. Whatever result we are getting to this prepare statement, we will pass this to the like in our while loop. Okay, so say and using right, and again we are going to create a new user object, and using object, right? We are going to like each row. Okay, we are going to create user object for each row. Okay, and after that we are going to set our id field of user object using the integer value from the first column of the current result set row. And like that we will do the same thing for the username and email also, and after that we are going to add those field to the user. Okay, using this u object. Okay, we already created user object. So let's say we are going to perform a while loop. So inside try catch, we are going to perform while loop, while And inside while we are going to write iterate through each row in the result set. Okay, so say rs dot next. So condition we already gave. And next we are going to create a new user object for each row. Okay, like u equals to, it is first of all, it is null. Right now we are going to write giving that new user. Okay, new, new user. And we are going to write, so now we are going to set our ID field of user object using the integer value from the first column of the current result set. Okay. So current result set row, right? So say using user object u dot say set ID, and here as a parameter what we are going to, so we are going to write, so we are using the right, we are using this integer, right? So uh, setting id is right, getting that integer. Okay, so from rs we are going to get the integer, get integer, and we need to like set the row of that. Okay, we are going to set the row id, and next as well as we need to set our username and email also. That uh, rs dot, and it is a string value, right? So string username. Okay, so say get string, and we and as like we give a second as a right current results, right? We will set this as a second column. Okay, from the second column, right? So basically this will do what, right? We are setting the username field of the user object using the using what, right? Using the string value. Okay, using the string value from the second column. Okay, same way we are going to set our email also. Let's see, and we will set our column as 3. And after that we need to write return our user list. Okay, so we need to return this list. Okay, so we need to write whatever we have, we need to add the user object u to the list, right? We are going to add this user object u to the list. For that, what we are going to do, we are going to call the list. Okay. So if you already see here, we have list. So we are going to add whatever retrieved data we have, we are going to add those inside the list. Say using list object, sorry, here list object, we have add method there. Add u. U is user. Okay. And now we have already completed retrieve and list. Like that we there's a method we have, like get by id and update user and delete. This 3 method we have. Same way we are going to create an get user by id. Okay, individual, if I want to write retrieve a data like individually data, okay, then we can do by id. So say public user, okay, and say give the method name get by get user by id, right? Right. And id like by how we actually retrieve those by ID, right? So we need to pass this parameter as ID. Okay, a int ID, and say as first we need to write we are retrieving we are first what we are doing previous. So we are actually declaring a user object, right? And that will be used to temporarily store user information during each iteration of the result set. Okay. So same way we have to declare a user also. Okay. And that will store a temporary user information during each iteration. Okay. Okay. User you null and uh, return return the user. And here we are same way we are going to perform try catch block to give the logic and handle the exception. Okay. So say try and catch. Uh, yeah, and we will print this exception. So come to the try block. We need to give the logic over here, and we need to validate our connection also. So let's say string well select star from user where ID equals to, and you need to pass this inside the double quote. So here we are going to give all the we are going to create all the logic, all the method. After that, we are going to perform the servlet. So same way we are going to call the prepare statement. We are going to create a prepare statement using SQL query. Same thing. Okay, like whatever we are doing previously in previous step, we are going to using this connection object. We are going to assume to be right validate our database connection. And again, we are going to write using this prepare statement, we are going to set our value of the first parameter and in the prepare statement to provide the ID. Okay. So basically this is we are getting by ID, right? So we need to set our ID as prepare statement. Okay. Like we should provide our ID or it will not get the data by ID. Okay. So first we say prepare statement. That statement or statement is say connection dot prepare statement. We will pass our SQL query to validate. Okay. And after validation of our SQL query, right? So now we are going to set our value, right? Value of the first parameter, right? So and whatever we are going to write here. So it actually do the like we are going to pass our ID. So say by using prepare statement, we are set our ID. Okay. Like, yes dot set integer, and as an integer as a parameter we are giving, right. So here what we are going to give here as a placeholder, this is a first placeholder. So we are giving first and as an ID. Okay. It will take as an ID automatically. So say, right, we are getting this user by ID, right? If I don't mention this ID here, it will not take this ID over here. It will give the error. Okay. If I give the blank over here, it will generate error over here. Okay. It will not getting the ID. So I will do the ID. Now we are going to write set our say whatever we are going to execute the SQL query. So basically execute the SQL query and obtain a result set using this RS object containing the retrieved row. Okay. So whatever result we actually getting, we will pass this as a result set. Okay. Say result set RS. Okay. We are going to execute our query. So prepare statement dot execute query, and after that we will do the logical handle, right. So next we are going to do the while loop again to check, right. So to check, right, if there is anything present in the list or whatever. Okay, so we will perform a loop using the while statement. We are performing a loop. Okay, so basically we are going to use this while loop to iterate through the result set, right? To iterate over this result set. Okay, even though it seems that there will be only one result, that is ID. Okay, but still we need to do this loop. Okay, to get the whatever result we have. Okay, from the result set. Say while. And as in condition, we are going to check, right. So say result dot next. Okay. Okay. And now what we are going to do, we are going to write, say, create a new object for the user. Okay, that we already created a new object for the user, and inside that, like after that, we are going to set ID field same way here, and we are using integer value from the first column. We will set row. Okay, we will set our result set row. We will do the same way. We will check. So say here we take you as a user object using user object. Okay, say okay. First have to like create a empty user. Say u equals to new user, and after that we will set our ID rs. After setting the ID, we will say using object name, right? So we will whatever the we will set the thing over here. We will by result, right. So result set we will get the integer of the column. Okay, that set id having that integer value, right. We will get that integer of that column. Okay, first column. So say get in, and say this is first column. Same way we'll do for username and email also. Say set username and set email. And same way it should be like username should be string, and here same thing string, and the row should be like uh, it should be in second column. Okay, I mean second column and third column. And after doing this, okay, so now we will return. Okay, so this so it will perform. Okay, so this will perform all the checking, all the thing. Okay, if it is present new user, okay, it will check from the list. Okay, it will check from whatever we have in that list. Okay, so it will give us if there is nothing, right? So it will simply give us this exception. And if there's something right present there, it will simply return me this right. It will check first if there anything present in ID. Okay, it will check by ID, right? It will, if anything present ID, so it will perform this query. It will fetch all the data from the list and it will present, it will show me in the UI. Okay. And if it is not present, it will like throw an exception. Okay. That's it. And next, what we have. So this is for like get user by ID. Okay. A particular user we are getting by ID. Next, we are going to update our user. Okay. So same way we are going to check as an like in Boolean way. So like what we are going to do, right? We are initializing a Boolean f variable, and as in a variable f will be false, like if it which will be used to track the success or failure of the update operation. Okay, what we are going to do. So let's say public Boolean uh, method name update user, and as a parameter we need to pass our entity class, that is user, to get to get all the user, right, to get the body of the user, right. So we need to pass our user over here as a parameter. Okay, user, and initialize a variable. Let's initialize a boolean variable, say boolean a, which is false, right? And say return, like it will return the okay, return f. This- So basically, like this Java method update, right? So this update a user record in database table name user. Okay, so using JDBC connectivity, so it take a user object as a parameter containing the update information and return a Boolean value indicate whether the update operation was successful or not. Okay. So same way we will perform a try catch block to give all the logic and error handling. Try catch. Okay, and say exception. And after that, we are going to print the exception using that print statement. So now come inside this try block. We are going to perform that SQL query. Okay. For that, we have to pass our query to the SQL string. Okay. Take a string and name it SQL. We are going to pass our SQL query. So for update the user, right? So what we need to do? So basically, what will be the query? So update user set. So update user, there is a set name. Okay. So we are going to use, like, we are going to set our value to some whatever there, right? The field we have. So there we have username, email, and we are going to update this by ID. Okay. So let's say update user and set username. Username equals to apostrophe s. We don't know whatever the value user gave it, comma, same way email is to, and say after that, like update user set username and email where ID equals to something, right? Where ID equals to something. This will be the query. And now same way we are going to write pass our SQL query to our prepare statement to right to update the thing, right, to create a prepared statement using the query SQL query, and like say to to validate our query, right, we are going to use that connection prepare statement, and we will pass our SQL query to our prepare statement uh, parameter. Okay. Uh, Validate our SQL query and say next we are going to set our value to the first parameter, and like first parameter in the prepare statement of to update the username obtained from the user object. Okay. So let's say using prepare statement, we are going to set our parameter, like we are going to set our first parameter. So set string. So first we are going to say set string. We are going to get our username, and we are get our email address and ID also. So first we are going to get our username using that user object class. So this user object we are going to use to get our user name. Okay. So let's say user dot get username, and we will perform this same thing in for email and for ID also. And for that we need to change something, that this will be like in second placeholder whatever the parameter, and here we are going to give that get email, and say here we have set integer, we are going to use set int, and here integer is not getting, right, so it is asking for the correct variable. So say it will go here, and here we are going to get our ID as an integer. They get ID. And now we are going to execute our update query. Okay. That is, you already know that is, we are using this prepare statement to get our execute update. Okay. So basically that execute the SQL update operation and returns the number of rows affected by the operation. Okay. And like those value is stored in the variable I. Like we are going to create a variable for that execute update. Okay. Yeah. Let's say in I, and this I will do what? Like whatever value it's getting, right, it will store inside this variable I. Okay. So first we are going to execute this update. After that, we are going to perform a loop, okay, to check whether that it returns, like to check it is successfully update or not. Okay. Check that we are going to use if condition. Okay. If statement. Say if I double equals to 1, then it should return me true. Okay. Like it is executed. Like if it is true, then it indicates that successfully updated. Okay. I equals to true. Okay. So let's say so I, not I, it will return to F, right? So we take this F as a boolean. Return F. So basically, what is this meaning of this condition? What it will do? So basically, if the execute update, right? So if the execute update returns 1, okay, that means that row, that one row was successfully updated and the a variable, okay, a variable is set to true, okay, to indicate that it is successfully updated. And that's it. And that is the update user we already complete. Next we have say delete, delete user by ID. Okay, say this is the method and we will delete it by ID. So say int ID. Okay. And same way we will perform true false like boolean. We will first declare a boolean a variable. Okay, we will declare a variable which is boolean, and we will do like we will say like it is false, which will use to track the success or failure of the delete operation. Okay, say boolean f equals to false, and we will perform and we will return this boolean f. Okay, f. So now we will perform a try catch block to give all the logic and to error handle. Say try. And the same way we will declare our connection. We will create that prepare statement for validate our SQL query. Again, we will set our value to the first parameter and prepare a statement to provide the ID. Okay. And basically, because we are deleting this by ID, right? We have to provide the ID for that. Okay. And after that we are going to execute our we are going to execute update method. We will perform that method to like to execute the SQL deletion operation and return the number of rows affected by the operation, right? And whatever value it will return, it will store in the variable, whatever variable we will take for that. Okay. So let's say try catch, and it will handle our error, whatever exception we have. And we will print this by using print stack trace. Okay. We're going to print our exception using print stack trace. Let's come to try block. And here we are going to declare our SQL query. Okay. So string delete from user where ID equals to something, right? This is the query statement, and we are going to validate this query. Okay. So let's say using prepare statement, we are going to validate our query, right? So prepare statement PS equals to, for validation, we are going to call the connection and say prepare statement. And connection here, I'm using this object name. I already declared this object name over here. We actually getting access this connection, right? So and next, what we are going to do, we are going to set our after that we are going to set our ID. Okay, as an prepare statement, we are going to set our ID over there. Okay, we need to provide our ID. Basically, it is like deleting whatever data by ID, right? We need to provide our ID using prepare statement. Okay, say ps dot set integer, that our ID is integer, right? So we are going to set our ID. So set integer, and we say like this is one and ID. Okay, and after ID, we are going to execute our update query, right? Okay, int let's say like ps dot execute update, right? And we need to pass this inside a variable, and that variable should store the value, whatever this executing this SQL, right, operation, deletion operation, and it returns some number of row that affected by this operation, right? So it store the whatever the value, right? It will store in some variable. So we need to give the variable over here. So say int, and that whatever data it store in like integer format. So integer I equals to, so we created a variable and we store whatever execute update will perform. And after that we will perform the same way, same logic. Okay, if it is if it give us one, that's mean that the user is deleted it successfully. If it is not giving one, or it is giving zero, so it is false, and it is not deleting the ID. Okay, it will throw this exception. Okay, say like if, okay, so if this I, whatever value it store inside this I, right, after doing this deletion, if I equals to double equals to 1, if it is like 1, if it actually give me 1, so it is basically doing the deletion, right? So we need to do this f equals to true. Okay. So this f equals to true means basically what this line I already explained in previous thing, like previous method, the same thing, right? So this means like if the executed update, right, returns 1, it means that one row was successfully deleted and the a variable, right? This is the a variable is set to true to indicate a, to indicate a successful deletion. Okay, so we completed our user down. Okay, with all the logic. Now let's come to that insertion, right? So we to add this user, right? To add the user, we need to create a servlet. Okay, to create a servlet. Okay, like this, create a user servlet. That's mean like whenever user right giving some data, right? It is creating a data, right? Whatever form we are going to show like in front of user, right? Whatever form we are going to held in front of user, the user will perform some insertion, right? So we are going to create that user details. Okay, so come inside this user sublet. This is like previously we are going to write. We actually see how we actually do the thing, right? So basically we actually, so we already give our logic in try catch block inside that user DAO. So basically we are going to like reusability of code, right? So we are going to whenever we need those methods, we are going to call our user DAO and we are going to access those methods using those user DAO. Okay, so let's say so everything is right. Okay, so we already declared our username. We will get the parameter of this username and now we will not use this try catch block. Okay. So basically we are going to get access the user table. Okay. We are going to access whatever we have username. Okay. So if you see, right, here while creating, so what do you think, right? So whenever user will insert a data, right? So data should be inserted, right? So there should be three field: username, email, and ID. Basically, for creating a data, we don't need ID. Basically, the ID should be auto incremented, right? It should be auto incremented. Like it will, whenever the user enters some details, it will enter to the database. For that data, it should generate it automatically a primary key that is ID. Okay, we don't give ID manually here. It should auto generate, auto increment. Okay. So let's see, come to user. If you see here, I created two constructor. Okay, like one constructor having the parameter using ID and another constructor is not having the ID, right? So basically this constructor is for insertion of data, right? So whatever creating, I'm going to write call. I'm going to call that user table, and we will pass our user and email to that constructor. Okay. Say we are going to create an object of that user. Okay, to get access of that user and email, username and email. Okay. So for that we need to get access to user table. So user object name, a new constructor that is same as user, right? User, and as you see, right, here why it is not showing error, basically we have this type of constructor. So we have this null constructor over here, this another constructor is here, like another using this field, right? So basically, whatever we are going to give, right, it will take. Say username, email. Okay, we assign this two string inside this parameter. Okay. Now, say we are going to get the connection, right? So we are going to get the user DAO also, user DAO to get access all the whatever we created, right? Whatever logic or method we created to get access. Okay. And if you notice, like user DAO, we already created a constructor, user DAO constructor using connection to get all the connection. Okay. So we are going to use this user DAO, okay, to get the connection. So let's say user DAO user DAO and say just wait a minute, just wait a minute, just wait a minute. Sorry for interruption. Okay. So let's say we are going to declare our connection inside here. Say we have the user DB, right? So here we have get connection, say like DB util dot get connection we are going to get, and after that we are going to handle the session using HTTP session. Okay. So what we are going to request our get session using this HTTP sublet request by object name. Okay. Request dot get session, and we are going to like say get our now we are going to get our method, right? So we are going to check, right, if it is success, right, as an boolean. Okay, true false. Okay. So if there like if user is added, so it will show me some success message, or it will show me some error message. Okay. So let's say, right, so same way we will perform a boolean. Okay, so say boolean f equals to say by using object name, right? We are going to access the add user method, EAO dot add user method, and there we are going to pass the user. And what is this user? Basically, user is this object name, right? We created. Okay. Now come to here, right? So remove the thing. So here now we are going to perform if else statement. If to check whether that user is added successfully or not. Okay, else. So let's say we will pass our add user performance here. We will pass our F. Okay? And after that, we will check, right? We will check the session. Okay. So using the session, we will set our attribute, set attribute. Okay. And here we will say like success and success, and it will show me some message over there. Okay. Say user details submit successfully. Okay. Successfully. And after that, we need to say, right, we need to respond, right? Then we need to, right, we requested our session over here. After requesting, we that request generates some request, right? And we need to pass that as a response. Okay, so we need to, if it is like happen, right? If it is successfully added, so we can redirect this to some another page also. Okay, we can do that. So for that, I will set this as blank. Okay, so happen. They using respond, right? We say res dot send redirect, and we can redirect this to some another page or anything. Okay. For now, I'm leaving this blank. We'll redirect some page over here. Okay. Like we created before some page. Okay. This two page we created, right? So let's pass the create user page. Okay. Says user dot JSP. Okay, if it is like successfully added, then it will redirect to like it will show the successful message, user details successfully submit, or like else it will do the error message, giving me the error message. Session dot set attribute and say error. Error, okay. And here you can pass some message like something wrong on the server. Okay. Okay. And we can redirect this to again to the create user page, JSP page also. Okay, that user need to recreate again. Okay, okay. So we created this JS, like we created this sublet, right? And now what we need to do, we need to use some annotation, right? So here we are going to use web sublet annotation. To interact with this sublet, we need to use this web sublet. Web sublet annotation. And here we are going to give like This will do the registration, right? Or we can say this will do like create. So, create, registering are the same thing, right? Register, and it is do post method, right? So this is one way you created. Okay, now let's come to the create user. Okay, so inside create user, okay, so basically first thing, okay, so here we have head, body, right? So inside title we can say add user, and something you need to know, right? So to add all the now we are going to come to like how we actually can access those bootstrap library, right? So for that we need to know like how we can access those bootstrap library. So if you come to like web page, right? So here say bootstrap, right? Search bootstrap. Here you can go to getbootstrap.com. Here we have all the bootstrap libraries. Okay, so here if you see, right, this is the library. All right, so in bootstrap we say, right, this is the library we need to refer. Okay, and this is the link and script over here. And where is another script? Uh, Only this two. Yes. Okay, to get access, right? To get access all the templates and function, like whatever the templates we are going to get access this resource. So we need to give this URL, like we need to pass this URL to our project. Okay, like whenever we are going to work in HTML or JSP page, we need to like each and every JSP or HTML page, we need to mention our this link, like from where we are getting this bootstrap, right? So say copy this thing, okay, and come to project. And the first thing you need to know, right, where you need to give this bootstrap at like link. So you need to pass this inside your whatever you have inside the head, right? In header section, we need to pass this. Okay, inside header section, say I'm passing this library. Okay, whatever the link. And same way, I will give that the link of this. Okay. So save this thing and do one thing, right? So if you go here and if you search over here, nav bar. So nav bar, it's coming. Okay, so you can say, right? This is the one kind of nav bar you can have. Okay, so here, this is the nav bar you can see here. You can do the whole thing, copy the thing. Okay, and here whatever we have, right? We lots of class we don't need over here. So basically, we need a home page and something like that. Okay, so we need some home page, right? And some button for that, like say, okay, let's create a navbar class. Okay, if I say, right, sorry, come to here and we are going to pass this nav bar to our header. Okay. So inside head, like not inside head, we are going to pass this inside body, right? Body save this, okay. And let's say I'm going to run this thing, right? So for a time being, there is like a different thing we set up here. Okay, so we need to change the thing. It will redirect me to that page. Come to the web.xml. We will modify this. Okay, so here we can say create user. Okay, instead of list user JPA, we can say create underscore user JPA, JSP, whatever JSP, right? Save it and come to here and reload the whole thing. Okay, so say okay, web examine, right? Create user JSP, right? Why it is not getting. Okay, as you can see, right, we can redirect this letter. Okay, as you can see, whatever we actually gave, right, inside body, that is coming, right? Whatever template we actually gave from the bootstrap. Now, if you see, like this is actually accessing the bootstrap class by using those link. Okay, using those bootstrap link, we can get the access. Okay, now I just going to remove all the thing and see, like each and every JSP class, we need to give all the thing, right? So better than to give each and every time the link we will pass here, better to, right? We need, like, it is better to create a different JSP file and we can separately keep those link and keep those like navigation bar, and we can, whenever we need those, we can call that JSP page, right? We don't need to do all the hard work, right? So for that, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to create a different page for like whatever bootstrap I am having, right? Whatever bootstrap like CSS we have, right? This is the CSS we are going to get, right? CSS means CSS bootstrap class. Okay, these are the CSS. Okay, so let's do create class. Okay, that JSP page, and that page is comes under app, web app, and name it as like say name this as like all underscore CSS. Okay, and this will contain all the CSS link we have. Okay, next finish and say select all, remove everything, and after removing everything, you just do this two thing. Okay, cut two thing from here to here. Okay, paste it over here. Okay, now it's good. So basically, whenever we need this link, we can call this all CSS JSP as per our need. Okay, the same way the same way we are going to create our navigation bar. Okay, that we already see, that nav bar. Okay, same way we are going to create a JSP page and name it nav bar. Nav bar means navigation bar. Okay, that is the short form. Nav bar. ASP. So here we are going to write create our nav bar. Yeah, so okay, come inside nav bar, remove everything, and just copy the thing. And here we are going to do some modifications. Okay, so whatever we don't need, we just remove. Okay, so say the nav item. Uh, from here we need this. We don't need this drop down and all. We need this, and we don't need this search bar also. That's good. And here you can say right user management system. Okay. And here you can do some modification like navbar expand large and say okay. Now it's good. So and say say this is home page and we will going to say refer some link over here. Okay. And we are going to create say list user we have it. So we have in list user the list and all. Okay. So instead of user list, leave it here, and we are going to create a index page. Okay. Basically, we are going to create an index page, and that index page will have all that user data whenever like it is a front page. Okay, going to be. And say we are going to pass that front page to our home. Okay, this refer link index.asp. Okay. For now, we don't have this index.jsp, right? So we will create it. And what this link? So basically, say this link will refer me to add user, and it will refer me to create add user, this JSP page. Create add, is it create add? Create user, create user dot JSP, right? Save it, and it is running though. Then come to the refresh. Uh, okay, so it will not come, right? Basically, why it will not come? We are not actually give those things over here, right? We need to give the header and body. So now we already created our classes, right? So we can now implement those classes inside here using the include file. Using the C in header, we are going to call the all css.jsp class. Okay. Okay. Right. Activate. We will include file and equals to file name, right? Within double inverted comma. Okay. File name should be all underscore css dot jsp we have, right? And that we call the thing in header. And now we will say like in body, same way. We will copy this and we will pass our nav bar over here. Okay, that's good. Save it and let's see in the browser how it's coming. Okay, so now it is coming good, right? So whenever I hit this add user, it should redirect me to the create user, right? Right. Add user means like create user, and for home page, it should redirect me to the index.jsp, right? So basically, it should by default it should pop up the index.jsp as an home page. Okay. And whenever we are going to add user, it will redirect me to the create user JSP page. And there we are going to create our user page. Okay. So let's say come to user JSP user, and here we are going to set body, take a div, and then class. So if you already know, this is like bootstrap properties we have, right? This is for container. We are getting the container. Okay. And inside this container, we will say like div, and this will give me the card. Okay. We will declare it as a card. Take another div inside card. There should be a card body. We will just giving the styling. Okay. And name this property like this class. Say like this is card body. Okay. So if I save this, like how it actually look, refresh it. So now it is giving me a card body and say, right, come to here and we are going to pass some para inside this card body. So say set p like say p and set p tag, say all user user details. Okay. And you can style the thing, format it, and say this p class It should be centered. The text should be centered, like we are getting everything in centered. Okay. So we will perform something inside this, right? So, and we are going to say that we are going to use the conditional tag, that is C tag, right? We are to perform the if condition. Okay, if it is empty, so like for each and everything, we are going to perform the thing, right? As you know, right, we create a sublet over here and we set our param here over here, right? Success and error. The same way we are going to use this success and error inside our create user JSP using conditional tag, and if you know, right, that conditional tag, that is basically coming from like JSPL core. Okay. So basically what JSPL core is like, so if you already know like the uh, code like using JSPL, like Java Server Page Standard Tag Library. Okay, we know that. To conditional display success and error message, we are going to use that conditional tag. Okay. So let's say using conditional tag, right? So let's give the conditional tag C using, okay, C after C, like say, and close this C. And say like inside the C, right? So can pass para, and here you can give the condition, right? If like paste equals to, say like not empty, right? And we will pass success. Okay, so and here inside p tag, right? So we are going to pass the success. Okay. And here it will generate an error because we don't install that JSTL dependency for now. Okay. It will generate an error. Okay. We will at least we will need to import the library over like inside this outside this HTML, like inside outside this doc type, right? We need to give the like tagline right over there. Say inside P, right? We are going to like style this P tag using class equals to text center. We need this as a center, and text. So let's try to inject our dependency, right? So let's come to prompt.xml where we actually inject our dependencies, right? So here we will inject some dependencies. Okay. So Okay, so plugin we have dependencies. Okay, inside dependencies, right? So first of all, we need that sublet API for our dependency. After that, we need our MySQL connector, and after that, we need JSTL dependencies. Okay, so for JSTL, first we need that dependency, and here inside dependency, give group ID. The group ID is like Java dot servlet. Okay, servlet, and after that we need artifact ID. Okay, and here we will say like this is for JSTL. Yes, and we will mention the version, what version we are going to use. Like say we are going to use 1.2 version. Save it. While saving, right, it will like do all the dependency injection like download and everything it will do. And come to the library, and if you say Maven dependency, you it will add JSTL 1.2 jar for you. Okay. And you can do the manually like download the jar, and you can do like build path over there. You can go build path over there, configure build path, and over there you can select the class path and add external jar. And from there you can add the external jar. Okay. So I have already, so this is MySQL connector we have. Like that you can do the external jar. Okay, you can add that. Okay, I already added. Now let's see, is the error is still showing me? Okay, it's still showing me. Okay, so let's see. We need to add the library as we added it like for the like CSS and navbar, right? We need to add the library for that. Okay, okay, like we are going to see. So this is C is for like this. The C is for like this conditional. Okay. And we are going to pass the link over here. So okay, code. Okay, save it. And so is else ignore. Okay, so we set it as false. Okay. Say, what it is saying, right? Okay. Okay, what it is showing, right? Valid. Okay, same way we are going to check the check for error also. Okay, and it's say like okay. So before doing this, right? So let me just share the attendance link. Yes, please do the attendance, and we will do error. Say error. This like basically this is for like success and like whenever user is doing right, giving the details, is it successfully like entered or not, it will show us like that. Okay, and next say like we are going to get a form. Okay, so form, and inside form we are going to give get the div for each and every column, right? Username and email. For that, we are going to get div. Say this div is for like div, and inside div we have level. Say level, uh, level. Okay, and say like label we will have some label. Say label we have user name. Okay, and we can say like this form will action. We can set our action over here and what this action will do. So basically, whatever we actually like set our in our like web sublet we set right in there. We set some web sublet over there. So we will pass the web sublet over here as an action. Okay. So here we already set registered in our web sublet. As you can see, right, create user sublet, we already see registered. Okay. So whatever we actually pass here, okay, we will similar thing, we will pass this as in our uh, create user also, right, as an action. Okay. And what this will do, right, there's something method, right, happening. So this will do the post method. Okay. And here it will do the post method. Okay. As you can see, it is giving me post. Okay. Post method. Okay. That's all good. Now you can give some style for this div and say C class, say class equals to, and you can give some style over here. Div and username label. Say, say we need to style our label, right? So say this label is for form label. Okay. And say class. Okay. And so after label, right? So it will ask me for some input. So we need a input, right? So say input, right? So inside input tag, we are going to declare the input, right? So say type equals to what type of input we are going to give? Text, name, username. Okay. And class is like we are going to use the form control. Okay. These are the one like different type of template we are using here. Okay, using the Bootstrap library, we are using different template. Okay, save it, and after saving, right, we need a button, right? After that, say right, this div is starting from here and ending here. So we are going to create a button. So button say like submit button, and you can say right here type is submit. Okay, class we are going to give some style over here. That button should be button primary. Save it, and same way do this for email also. Email name. Email. Okay, that's good. Now come to the thing, refresh the whole thing. Okay, so what's happened is create user JSP line 4. Okay. Multiple I use So let's do the injection, dependency injection. Uh, Copy this. Okay, save this. Task not found. Okay, this one. Okay, invalid directive. Okay, I haven't saved that one. Showing me the same thing. Uh, it seems everything is fine. Um,
Okay, there the message is showing, okay, the message is showing the is a league node is the unexpected. What is
yes. What?
the at the line of five, each line of this
Yes,
program
yes.
is a league node is this is the attribute is showing false or undefined.
Yes, but
Undefined attribute name.
that's not an issue. But
This is the message
this is for
error is
JSTL.
showing in
Okay.
the browser.
Let's see what's the problem. Undefined. It's asking, right? Copy. Save. Ready. So see, like dependency, like these are the dependency for that. Okay, so this is the one dependency tag like. So I don't think so. This will do the. See, and say right. Line number 5, invalid attribute. Remove. Okay. Yeah, now that's good. So as you can see, right here, this is the form. All user details, but all user details basically this is
Hello.
the add
Hello.
details, right? Yes. Hello.
Hello. What? Where is the debugging process? I can see how.
Debugging process, like whatever we actually like get the error, we should like search those debug.
Just remove the EL ignore. That is the.
That is the yes. Like previously
Okay.
we have this like is ignored and we just remove it. Okay. In some case
Okay.
it requires. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, save it, and yeah.
Yeah. Save this thing and it's already 9. So let's try to perform. Okay. Let's try to give some data. Okay. And is it performing anything? Something went wrong. Okay. Let's see. Uh, let's see what error coming because this one is null. Okay. Now 21. Okay, okay, sorry, it actually deny me the access. Sorry, I actually, yeah, I need to give the access, right? Here, as you can see, this is not my user and password, right? That is true. And say, save it and try to run the thing and below. Okay, as you can see, user details submit successfully, right? Now come to MySQL database. And as you see, right, this is my user DB, okay, database, and there we have user table, and that we have column, and inside column we have ID, name, and email. Now we already added something, so let's execute the thing. Uh, okay. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? It is like storing the data, and ID is auto incrementing. Okay. So you guys go through this code and try to get understand. Okay. And your next session will be tomorrow. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. So go through this code.
Thank you.